Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? First, a shout out to, but first, let me remind you, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, get those thumbs up. If you want to donate to what I do in the community, what this channel does in the community, my PayPal link will be in the description box. Remember, you take care of yourself at home first. And if you don't have it, don't worry about it. And so long as I can, we're going to put up what the truth is. And you'll know it's the truth because you'll be able to make it up in your mind, right? I'll just put up the evidence for what I think is going on. But see, I leave it to you to figure it out. The only thing I won't tolerate is some foolish BS when somebody comes and tries to deflect instead of expounding upon the evidence that they see before them. And because somebody else, oh, well, white people do it too. Oh, the Republicans, that don't stop what I'm saying is being done. And that's why nothing can ever get fixed. Instead of people realizing that it's a serious problem, the first thing they try to do is deflect blame to somebody else, even when the crime does not fit what the other people are doing. All right? So let's roll on. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to figure out is what he said that was racist, and I don't see anything, right? He says Representative Elijah Cummings has been a brutal bully, shouting and screaming at the great men and women of the Border Patrol, which that's true, about conditions at the southern border. All right, when actually his Baltimore district is far worse and more dangerous. His district is considered the worst in the USA. He's accurate. Now, you had to think, if he's going to say this, he did the research. And nobody, as far as I've seen, no one has said that this statement is not true. They said instead that a statement that is not racist is now racist. Understand this. This is what's going on in this country. If you say the truth, the Democrats and only the Democrats are leading this, and they're going to be followed by the weak Republicans, which is why the whole country is going to hell in a handbasket. All right, but it's going to be worse for us Afro people, is because they are using the word racist so loosely that when we are confronted with it, people are going to be like, well, everything is. So what's your problem? All right, nothing here was either a lie nor was it racist. Right? And the only people determining what's racist or not are the news media. And why? Because the only vitriolic and H8 that I see is coming out of the media and the Democratic Party. And some Republicans, but they don't like this dude because a non-politician whooped their behind in an election. And they're hurt because the one who was and should have been indicted for criminal activity, their girl did not want to do the work it took to win, so she didn't win. She spit on men, she spit on the people, and she had an agenda that nobody really wanted to follow. All right, so here's his next tweet. As proven last week, congressional tour, the border is clean, efficient, and well run, just very crowded. Okay? Cummings district is a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess. Wait a minute. Understand this. Let me repeat what he said. Cummings district is a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess. If he spent more time in Baltimore, maybe he can help clean up this very dangerous and filthy place. Do you know who agreed with him? The people who are living in those conditions in Baltimore. You know how I know? if you look in the comment section of a lot of my videos, if you go look on Facebook when they read his comments, they said, no, that's pretty much true. So I'm going to take the people that's actually, the Afro people that's actually living there, I'm going to take their word for it, right? And I'll take their word for it before I take Elijah Cummings, because he don't even go to his own city until it's election time. And he don't even go then because he don't have to. Because nobody ever puts anybody up against him. So he don't even have to campaign there. But again, based on what I am hearing from my listeners that live up in Baltimore, that statement is accurate. Based on me looking at it as an Afro man experiencing racism for real in the military, experiencing racism for real in schools, in higher education, experiencing racism as I was growing up. I can tell you for sure that I see no racism in that comment. But everybody, this third commentary right here, this is the problem, and this is why you're being bamboozled. You're being took. You're being led astray. You're having the wool pulled over your eyes. All right? This is smoke and mirrors. This is the red herring. The fake rooster. Whatever you want to call it. All this stuff that CNN and all these people in the media and all these politicians are doing to try to turn this into a racist statement, which it is not. They're doing it because of his last statement right here. And the racist card, the racism card, I'm usually arguing with Caucasian people when they say, oh, you're playing a racist card and stuff like that. All right, meaning that they're saying that somebody is misusing it by saying that a situation that isn't racist, a situation that isn't. The situation that an Afro person say is racist is not. So let me say this, right? Here's the smoke mirror, here's the bamboozlement. The news media, the people in Congress are playing this card, and you will have the Republicans join in and try to distance themselves and play it too, because this is the troubling part. And this is the statement that he's saying that is really scaring the people that have been elected to office. All right? Most of the Democrats and Republicans that's in the House of Representatives are millionaires. They didn't go in there like millionaires, but they became millionaires while they're in the House of Representatives. Most of the Democrats and members of the Black Caucus, all right, their places that they come from, their districts, are very, very bad. All right, have been abandoned by them. But it's okay, because the people were conditioned that no matter how bad their district is, you still vote for the guy simply because of his color, the color of his skin, or the party. All right? This is the die-hard Democrat, the die-hard Republican. This is why nothing can get done. Because the die-hard don't even care about if their life is going to be made better by the other guy. Because the United States is the most branded place on earth. That people follow a brand. They don't follow their own will. They don't follow what's right. They follow their brand. All right. The Democrats are a brand. The Republicans are a brand. All right. So if you, just in case you read, why is this troubling? Because he asks a question that if anybody else in Boston starts asking, will put not only Elijah Cummings, but many of the Democrats in these districts that are doing so bad in a bad light. He says, and this is what's troubling, and this is why everybody is trying to gin up this racism narrative on this man, because as a businessman, he see that money went somewhere, and then he see that there's no bang for his buck. So he asked this question of Elijah Cummings, right? Because at least whether you agree with it or not, he said, I'm going to do border security because that's what the people who voted for me wanted, right? He says, why is so much money sent to the Elijah Cummings district when it is considered the worst run and most dangerous anywhere in the United States? Wait a minute. Did you see what he said? It is his district, Elijah Cummings' district, Boston. There are stories about this. There is media about this. There are statistics about this. I didn't know it was the most dangerous, right? And I didn't know that that was his specific district. But the people that live there said that, yeah, they believe it is the most dangerous place. And a lot of people want to leave there, but many people that live there, which is us, the Afro-melanated people, can't leave there because they don't have the resources to move away to just anywhere. He said, it is considered the worst run and most dangerous anywhere in the United States. Now, I'm going to play a clip and show you how they spliced this up and didn't give you what he said in context. He said no human being would want to live there. He didn't say, he understands that people live there, but not many people that aren't criminals want to live there. Most of the people want to leave there. They don't want to live there. It's like any place where you don't feel safe, where the conditions are bad. You want to move out, but money and stuff like that keeps you from doing so. Where is all this money going to? How much? Wait a minute. Now we understand why they turned this into a racism thing. These two questions right here. Where is all this money going to? He's stating that a lot of money went into Elijah's Cummings to go to his district to make improvements. And from his point of view, being a businessman and a president and not a politician, he can't understand why so much money went to this district and it is in such disrepair. And he says, where is all this money going to? That's the first damning question. How much is stolen? That's the next damning question. And now you got why you have the smoke and mirrors of racism when nothing that is said here is racist. Investigate this corrupt mess immediately. There it is. I had to hit the table for that. There it is. There is the problem. He wants it investigated immediately. And the people of Boston should be calling for an investigation because he's saying a lot of money went into this district. And this district should not be this bad. And you got this dude that became a millionaire by selling us out, you know, in the country and the people in his own district A lot of money went in there, and he can't see where this money went to, and he wants to know how much of the money is stolen, and he wants an investigation by the same people that want to look into his taxes, where legally they can't look into his taxes. Again, another smoke and mirror. They want you to think about his taxes, but he wants you to think about where you live and why you have to live in such squalor. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, not done yet. He goes, so interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete total catastrophe, the worst, the most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, even if they even have a functioning government at all. Now loudly, right? So wait a minute. So now when you preface that, what he's saying is you have people come over here, some as anchor babies, some legit. All right, they've been placed by Google, as I told you this story, that they were part of the group that Google had get in by controlling what people see. Understand this. And they're complaining about a country that's way better than where their parents came from or where they came from. In other words, these are people that migrated here, that got privilege that the regular ADOS people don't even get in that way. Immediately off the backs of Afro people. And remember, when they say people of color, they're not talking about the descendants of slaves. All right, so when these cronies in these news media say these are people of color, no, in their country they identify as Caucasian. Somewhere in the caste system, they're at the upper tier of their caste. You got one legit person coming out of Africa, but still not the descendants of slaves. Okay? And so he says, and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. So he has a problem with this. People, and basically, again, not racist, right? But, I mean, most people feel some kind of way when somebody comes out of a home that's dirtier than yours and then tell you how dirty your home is. And then you look at them and be like, but yours is way worse than me. So why are you complaining about my little bit of dishes in the sink? You see? Why don't they go back? And he didn't say go back to their country. Look at what these people did in the media. He did not say, why don't you go back to your country? He said, why don't they go back to help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how. Oh my goodness, now that you read it in context, what the media had you thinking was, he said, oh, why don't they just go back to their own country? But that isn't what he said. He said, why, if they're so smart and they think things are so bad here, why can't they go back and fix where their immediate mother and father came from, or in some cases they themselves came from, and fix that if they're so smart. And then come back and then tell us how they did it. Wait a minute, now that you're reading his tweets in context, which they never give you. They give you sound bites and then they put them together to make you think that he said they need to go back to their country, but that isn't what he said. He said, why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken, crime-infested places, which they are, which is why they escaped the places from which they came. He didn't say just go back. He said, go back and fix. If you're that bad, you're that smart, why can't you go back and fix where your ancestors, where your mom and pops came from? Let's not say ancestors, because you got some Hispanic that came from Cuba that's here, this, that, and the other, and they're a part of this society. You got some Mexicans that came over, they're a part of this society. And hell, we are, all the Afro people know that you got some people from India that's here because they own all the stores in the hood and half the hotels. But they came here, some of them been here generations, been friends to all of us, some not, you know. But these are people that their parents just came here, brought them here to get away from what's going on in their original place. What we can say about Mexico is you got a lot of people trying to go to Mexico. You got people going to India and stuff like that. And you might have a problem with poverty and stuff like that, but you don't have war. You don't have people trying to be here for asylum. You see what I'm saying? And so that's different, right? And so he says, if you have all these bright ideas, fix that. Because he knows that they don't have enough ideas to fix those kind of problems. So why are they talking about a place that put them in the way that they do, that put them in office above other people that's been here for more generations than them? How does that even happen, Google? All right, and that's the thing. So he's feeling some kind of way, as if they are privileged and don't know anything. And that's what he's saying. He said, you made it into the house. That's a privilege. But the people in the house don't think of it as a privilege. They think it's their right. And they'll become millionaires like the rest of the people in the house, off of all these deals that make their areas of responsibility get worse and not look good at all. Such is the nature of politics in the United States. All right, now pay attention. All right, pay attention and forgive my reactions to the BS you're about to see, but I'm about to illustrate the lying that this guy is doing. I would sue him if he did something like this to me. And I want you to understand the trickery that they're using and the witchcraft to show you how they want to trick your mind into a particular point while getting you to ignore everything else. All right? So pay attention.
This morning, the president attacked another member of Congress on Twitter. This time, it's House Oversight Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings. He wrote this. Cummings' district is a disgusting, rat and rodent-infested mess. If he spent more time in Baltimore, maybe he could help clean up this very dangerous and filthy place. No human being would want to live there.
You see the yellow?
Infested.
He skipped everything.
It's usually reserved for references to rodents and insects, but we
notice how he takes everything out of context and only give you a point like the preachers do, misleading and lying.
We've seen the president invoke infestation to criticize lawmakers before. You see a pattern here? Just 2 weeks ago, President Trump attacked former.
All right. All of the places that he's talking about, well, we just happen to live there.
Minority Congresswomen, why don't they go back to the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Reminder, 3 of them were born here. All of them are.
All right. So he mistakenly said they all came there, but the places that their parents came from, and remember, the 3 that were born here was because their parents were escaping the area.
Are American. Infested, he says. A week before his inauguration, January 2017. Congressman John Lewis should spend more time on fixing and helping his district, which is in horrible shape and falling apart, not to mention crime infested. Donald Trump has tweeted more than 43,000 times.
All right, so he likes the word infested, right? Since when is infested a racist word? Because we say that all the time about an infestation of bad behavior, drugs, or anything else as Afro people.
He's insulted thousands of people, many different types of people. But when he tweets about infestation, it's about black and brown people. September 2014, at the height of an urgent health emergency. Why are we sending thousands of ill-trained soldiers into Ebola-infested areas of Africa? Bring the plague to the U.S.? Obama is so stupid.
Was an infestation.
Infested, he says. There's a revolution going on in California. So many sanctuary areas want out of this ridiculous crime-infested and breeding concept. Infested, he says. The president says about Congressman Cummings' district.
Now the fake crime. All right, so this is how you know this guy does not represent us. He's not even worth me allowing you to listen to the rest of the BS that he's trying to tell you
from the hospital
with his Academy Award-winning fake
a lot of people I care about still do. There are challenges, no doubt.
This dude is a liar, and the truth isn't in him because you see how he spliced apart the stuff. So let's look at the whole thing again in context. All right. He says, so interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even had a functional governing at all. Now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Okay? He says, why don't they go back and help fix the total and broken crime-infested places from which they came, then come back and show us how it's done? Oh, look at that context. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi will be happy to quickly work out free travel arrangement. And this is a hit on Nancy Pelosi and them when they went down to Florida to vacation with their families while the government was shut down. All right, so that's the context. Congressman John Lewis should spend more time fixing and helping his district, we read this, which is in horrible shape and falling apart. Not to mention crime infested. And so when we talk about crime, we don't say, not to mention that there is a lot of crime going on there. We usually refer to crime as crime infestation. We refer to any other kind of critter related thing as infestation. All right. Ebola was an infestation by definition. But the dude there, the simp, is trying to turn it into racism, which that isn't what it really is. But it is something more sinister. They're trying to hide the fact that he is saying that the Congress needs to be investigated because it looks like they've been stealing the money that has been allocated for the people. And that's why everybody is jumping on this racism bandwagon when you look at everything in context. There was no racism here. All right. So there's a revolution going on in California. So many sanctuary areas went out of this ridiculous crime-infested breeding concept. All right. And he said it's a crime breeding concept. He didn't say it was that everybody was criminal, but this kind of no protection where everybody's looking to make money any kind of way, that's a breeding ground for crime. Jerry Brown is trying to back out of the National Guard at the border, but the people of the state are not happy. Want security and safety now. That's everything in context. All right? And everything that he puts in context, they are trying to turn into a racial attack on minority lawmakers. However, if the minority lawmakers would do their job and help us instead of get rich to the tunes of millions of dollars, maybe he wouldn't have this kind of ammo to use against them. Oh, but that's lost on them. All right. The biggest problem that we have as an Afro community is the people that look like us in Congress getting rich off of our backs. But again, you know, you're not allowed to say anything about that, because if you tell the truth is now going to be turned into some kind of racism. You know, like Google and YouTube does to Afro people that talk about our community. Well, it is what it is. So basically, what do y'all think of this? Who gives a crap this dude marched with King? King said that he has integrated us into a burning house. He has integrated us into a burning house. King said that. Which King? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that, I fear I have integrated my people into a burning house. Why? Because these people were going to get elected and become sellouts to the nth degree. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments section. With that said, I'm out.